You may be wondering, what does a digital marketer do? What does a marketer do? What does a day in the life look like for a digital marketer? Hey there, if you're new here, I'm Neil Patel and I'm a digital marketer based in the UK, and on this channel I break down digital marketing and personal development so we can growth hack businesses, our careers and ourselves. By the way, if you're liking the content here on Growth Vertical, be sure to gently hit that like button. I'd truly appreciate it. Now let's get on to it. So what does a digital marketer do? As a marketer, what do we do every single day? What does a day look like? Well, first off, I'm a growth manager, and that's a marketing role that typically focuses on using strategies to grow businesses. That's around marketing and advertising, and also focusing on user acquisition, so working in product development sometimes as well. Now, my role is quite collaborative, so I have to work with sales a lot of the time, customer success, operations, even talent for employer branding as well, and also data science because our product's quite data oriented. Now, my role is definitely focused on, and my job overall is focused on generating revenue for the business, and that also involves using traditional levels of marketing and also digital marketing as well. So we have to use the best of both worlds depending on how creative the campaigns are and what generates revenue best. So we already know what marketing is and what marketers do. We position products, brands and services in a way in front of our target audience that allows them to understand the value that's on offer. We communicate that value in front of our potential customers so that they can buy our products and services. You have to remember that in digital marketing and in marketing overall, there's a lot of broad areas. So let's say we're talking about digital marketing specifically. There could be areas that you're involved in either collectively, so search engine optimization, social media, email marketing, affiliate marketing. You could be involved in conversion rate optimization. You can be involved in all of these areas or even just one of them. It depends on whether you're in a generalist role or an overall strategic role, or whether you're in a specialist role. So that's quite niche down and also quite specific to the particular strategy you're running for that business. As a growth manager, we also tend to use traditional marketing tactics. Now, just note that traditional marketing isn't extinct or anything. It just gets used more strategically. But your role could inherently involve using billboard advertising, cold phone call strategies. You could be using TV advertising, events, using direct mail, plenty of things, right? But to be honest, with the pandemic, a lot of this stuff has slowed down, especially like direct mail and events, because you're not able to sort of have any contact with anyone. Remember that a lot of these strategies and tactics from digital marketing and traditional marketing and how much you're going to use them are going to vary depending on the role you're in, and also whether you're in a business, whether you're freelancing, consulting, or whether you're running your own agency. And the reason why is because the type of product matters, right, that you're marketing, and also the target audience matters. So you always have to consider who your audience is. So you're looking at positioning at the start all the time. So audience, messaging, and then your offer, right? Is it fit? Is the channels fit for the right target audience and the product that you're marketing? You got to think about these things, so it always can vary. So from a general sense, what would you usually get up to? So looking at this in a short methodical way, you can be involved from the very start of a campaign to the very end. Now you can be involved in planning, creating these campaigns and then implementing them and executing them so that you can generate those sales, generate leads, and also generate profits for the business. You could be more strategic where you're looking at the roadmap, but you're also identifying where should marketing spend be deployed. So you're looking at forecasting and budgeting. You could also look at maybe getting more involved in the creative side of copywriting, designing maybe, or actually content writing. You could be involved in data analysis overall and connecting the dots with marketing automation. So ensuring that you have a smooth data flow between all these platforms to ensure that you're performing efficiently and your marketing campaigns are effective. You could be doing all of it, or you could be just doing one area. A typical day could depend on your department, your role, and whether you're a specialist or a generalist, like I mentioned earlier. Now, for those of you who don't know, a specialist could be someone who's really niche down in a specific piece of work. That will be their bread and butter, their day in, day out source of work. That could be, for example, email marketing. So an email marketer would work solely on email marketing every day, versus a generalist who works across a span of different areas and knows a bit or a lot about all those multiple areas, right? So as a growth manager, I'll be involved in multiple areas. So email marketing, social media marketing, conversion rate optimization, SEO the next day, lead generation the next day using paid ads, you name it. It could differ. Also, for your benefit, I wanted to actually list a few roles that I've managed to write down and come up with to give you an idea, right, of the type of roles that you could get involved with. So you could be a performance marketer, so running ads and trying to get a higher return on ad spend, effectively utilize your budgets on these paid channels. Media planning and buying, you can be involved with that. You could be a brand manager or be involved in employer branding, marketing operations and automations, marketing data analysts, a social media marketer, so focusing on posting, creating that content and posting it on streams of social media. SEO marketer, so trying to get your website ranked highly on the search engine so more people find you and you're more visible. Also content and copywriting, right? So blogs, writing lead magnets, coming up with these different pieces of content. Or again, as a growth manager and other strategic roles, mind you, I have to do both, by the way. So I have to get involved with the various areas that I just mentioned here and also get involved in the strategic area. So just a disclaimer that a typical day would still involve your mundane work. It's always there. So when I say that, whether you're a freelancer, consultant, business owner, or working in-house, we tend to have to do the standard procedure type work. So the everyday work, checking your emails, attending meetings, reporting your findings, training people, onboarding people, maybe interviewing people. These things are so everyday that you're just gonna have to get involved with it. So a typical day would fill up with those different items. Obviously, I don't recommend you check your emails every hour. That's not what I'm saying, right? That's actually pretty inefficient. Don't do that. Only once. Well, if you want to talk about that some other time, we can do that, about how you can be productive in a day. But those tasks are always going to be there. On top of that, a lot of the early days actually involved a lot of research, a lot of audits across all the strategies and tactics used and the different channels used, and assigning a value as to whether it actually aligned with the business goals or not, and then maybe creating your own strategy and laying out a roadmap for the quarters to come. Marketing is lean. There's always a change, right? It's always changing. And that's why marketing is quite fast paced, because you always have to reassess what you're doing and ensure that you're aligning with what you're trying to achieve. So that performance goal or your business goal. So one day you could be planning a campaign and brainstorming with your team and executing on something. Next thing you know, you're pulled away and you have to write or get involved in a reactive piece of PR content or even write a blog post. Like, it truly differs, and it's important to be reactive but proactive at the same time. You may be thinking, hey Neil, well, what does your typical day involve if you're working across all of these areas? Well, as a growth manager, it's more heavily management focused these days, and I do a lot of operational tasks, but that's because I actually manage my own team. I liaise with a lot of different stakeholders every day since I started and even now, but I also primarily work alongside my team, right? It just depends on the nature of the work. I'm also working independently, which is crazy because of the day-to-day change. I actually make it a thing where I set myself a task or so I can lead from the front and actually showcase to the team that we're working as a unit and it's a team. When I started, I was alone, right? So I had to do everything myself, and I'm talking about actually having to do everything. So I had to teach myself, I had to do my own audits, and then also propose a strategy, and then also on top of that execute a strategy. So for example, proposing a website relaunch, liaising with external agencies to get that done, doing SEO for the website myself, driving traffic to the website to generate leads and how we can actually go about doing that. I had to get involved in setting up A/B test email environments, so for email marketing and improving the rates for that, get involved with sales, and also recruit and hire a team. I had to set up work samples and do some interviews myself and things like that. So every day is not the same. Right now is more heavily management focused, but I do get involved with marketing every day, and especially digital marketing, as it's what I enjoy most. So what you could take away from hearing what a growth manager does is that there's a lot of overlap nowadays, right? There's no single days that's the same. I find myself wearing a lot of hats. There's always different tasks to do every day. For example, recently we've been trying to reassess our SEO campaign whilst proposing an AdWords campaign for Google, and also testing what it's like to run an AdWords campaign on Bing ads, right? So it could always change and no day is the same. It's always fast paced and quite rapid. So as a marketer, what does my typical day look like as an example? Well, as part of my full-time role, I start off at 9 a.m. checking my emails for my growth manager role. From there, I'd have a daily stand-up with my team where we run through the daily tasks of what we're going to achieve by the end of the day, if there was any issues on the previous day, or what we're going to achieve by the end of the week. And then we'll probably go ahead and go off and do our tasks, right, that we have related to the projects that we've set and our goals for the quarter. From there, I'd probably have more meetings, and then I'd probably go ahead and have a lunch. Now, usually I actually don't get time to have a full hour lunch. I try to take it as a working lunch. And if I do get some time to have a lunch, I usually try and take care of my other personal work or do some other work on the side. Usually from there, there's probably more meetings throughout the day because I work with international offices. So I usually have to work until 6 to 8 p.m. usually. I actually try and finish on time nowadays. So 6 to 6:30 is where I'm trying to actually make sure I'm more strict about about, and that's because from there I usually go and start working on other work. But before that side work, I usually work out, shower, and then eat, and then work on my consultancy or freelance projects that I usually do on the side. From there, I'd probably focus on my new income initiatives and maybe my YouTube channel, and maybe I'll do some learning or some reading before I chill out for a bit, maybe play some games or something, or talk to some mates, and then go to bed. So there you have it. This is what a day could look like for a growth manager like myself. And remember, there isn't really a clear-cut typical day, because it depends on whether you're a generalist, a specialist, or whether you're working in-house or externally doing your own thing. It really depends on what direction you're going in and what area of marketing you're involved in. Now, I know that talking you through my day is totally different in comparison to actually seeing it. So for those of you that want to see a vlog style day in the life video, feel free to drop it in the comments below and I'll try to set something up. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked the video, be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Otherwise, if you have any questions, put them in the comments below and I'll get back to them. I'll see you in the next video. See ya.